And as we know, you were diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, and I've learned a little bit about this process of you finding out, but the limit of what I've found out is via Alex Hammerstone telling me how you guys could kind of tell something wasn't right last summer, but you being the person that you were, you're like, something will pass, it'll be all right. But then you find out what's going on. I'm asking you what you're comfortable divulging in this sense, but what's that process like for you to sort of discover something that not only changes your life, but that of everybody around you?
Right. At this point, I don't, it's one of those things where it's like, it's a topic where I'm not going to talk about all the time, but listen, I'm totally cognizant of what I represent and who may need to hear this. And that is so cool for me. So like, if I can help one person by telling my story, that's amazing for me. In fact, I actually met a kid this past weekend in North Carolina for AML wrestling, and we chatted, and hopefully I was able to help him a little bit. So, but going back to your question, it was the unknown that was the most worrisome for me, because I remember when I did that match against Hammerstone in New York for MLW, man, I showed up. So I was living in California for the month prior, and then MLW had flown me in for that show in New York. And like, I'm leaving California just like pale and frail and like very odd, and I didn't feel good. And I just remember just like getting to the arena that day and just pounding NyQuil, or not NyQuil, excuse me, DayQuil. And I'm just taking as much of it as I can. I'm telling Court, I'm like, I'm okay. I'm like, I'll be fine. Like, I'll push through. And Court's like, are you okay, man? Like, are you sure? And I'm like, I'm fine. I'm fine. It's just how we are as wrestlers. We're just like, we'll push through. We'll worry about everything on the back end. And I ended up going out there and having like a match that I was actually very proud of with Hammerstone. It was a false count anywhere match. So we were all over on the roof in Melrose Ballroom, and we're fighting over people's balconies. People are looking at us, and I thought the cops were going to get called. I got thrown into a plant, and it's like you just forget about how you're feeling. You just get kind of so engulfed into everything. But then after the match, in the next couple of days, man, I was just still feeling it. And I'm like, maybe I'm just really sick. Or maybe I just got like a really bad bug or something. And then, just one thing led to another, and then test after test after test. And then eventually they came up with the diagnosis, which they did.
And when that's given to you, like, what were the immediate responses? Like, was it, okay, here's the plan, here's how you get over this? What were you even thinking about from a wrestling perspective then? Because obviously if you don't live, you can't wrestle, but so much of your living is wrestling.
Yeah. So once they told me, I was just like, okay, when's everything start? Like, there was no time to think. It's just like, I've been feeling really bad for a long time. Like, it's about time you just told me what it was. So let's get through that. Okay, boom, here's the diagnosis. What do we got to do? What's the prognosis behind this? And, what are the steps needed to take? Not so much to get me back into the ring, but like, how do I get back to just living normal civilian life? How do I get back to just getting back into the gym and feeling like myself and looking like myself and all those things, the more important things, right? And then the wrestling will eventually follow. And I knew that. And, the doctors were so assured to me. They're like, you're going to be fine. Everything's going to be okay. It's going to be a process, right? Like, this is not something that you just snap your finger and fix, but we're going to do what we need to do, and you'll get back in the ring. Like, don't worry. And I never wavered from that. Like, I always was just, it'll be there. Wrestling will be there. The industry is not going away. The business isn't going away. I may be going away for a little bit, and that's okay, because I will be back and I'll beat this. And that was just my mindset the entire time. Like, I would allow myself MOAs, moments of anxiety, just moments. That's it. I would have a moment of anxiety and then get back into it, because it's just stay on the course and do what you have to do, and then you'll get to where you want to be. And now here I am doing a Fightful interview with you, enjoying a nice Starbucks coffee and loving life.
How was MLW during this process? Obviously, I would imagine you maintained a close relationship with Court Bauer throughout that entire process. You'd been working with him for years.
Yeah, Court and I are actually really close. Me and Court probably got closer during the whole time frame. And, we would talk wrestling, sure. But we would talk about life. We would talk about family, talk about the Yankees, talk about the Giants. We actually have a lot of commonality behind that. So, like, we would just chat, and he would just check up on me from time to time. And, I would always, text him and, say, hey, I saw this on MLW and I thought this looked really good. And, we would talk about the product for sure. And we've maintained a really good relationship. MLW was very good to me during the whole, during the whole process, I guess you could say. There's not much they can do. It's like they can't assist in the healing process, but they can make me feel more comfortable about it, and they certainly did.